the Democratic Party, you would hope, is in a period of reflection, but also of laying groundwork for what that new vision or a convincing argument to be given the responsibility of creating that new vision would be. I've seen it done with individuals. I've not seen much of a concerted effort, top down. Even, the new guy they got at the DNC, his first comment was like, their billionaires are terrible, but our billionaires are great. Like, it was, you're just like, oh shit, we're screwed. But are you seeing a nascent effort in the way that, the Republicans, they had all their ducks in a row when they got in the door? Doesn't seem like Democrats have any ducks. They're all free range. They're all flying around.
Yeah, we're not really top-down kind of people, right?
Even bottom up.
Because the sooner we can accept kind of what we are and what we aren't, I think the better. I don't think we're going to have the equivalent of Project 2025 where, don't get me wrong, there's lots of policy work going on. But the idea of us generating some 1,000-page document and everybody kind of saluting and marching forward, that's just, that's not really what we're about. I think what we do need to do is lay out a real reckoning of three things we need to rethink. What we have to say, the policies, the ideas. Hold absolutely true to the ones where our values are at stake, but reconsider any ones that just aren't quite right. That's what we have to say, how we say it. A lot of it's the tone, it's the messenger, it's especially the way we talk to Trump voters we're trying to win over, because I told you so is not a gateway. Like, anybody who's like ever been married knows that, like, right? That is like not a smart way. Like, even if you think you're being vindicated on something, and obviously we're going to have lots of moments.
You're saying carry yourself with some humility, even when you're right.
Especially when you're right.
Don't be a sore winner.
And be open to the possibility maybe you weren't right about some things.
Right.
So there's what we have to say. There's how we say it. And then the other big thing that my party is terribly behind on is where we say it. And by this, I mean what media spaces we are in. I did a couple appearances, kind of almost last minute ideas where during the campaign last year, as I was working to help my party, I did some things on online YouTube-based media outlets I had never even heard of.
Right.
And had more people coming up to me, but different people than came up to me if I'd been on CNN. More likely to be a high school student or a server at a place where I was grabbing somebody who had not gotten to know me through some of the other media that I was doing every day.
Right.
But did get to know me through some of these other media. The podcasting, right? My party's all up in arms about who's our Joe Rogan. We're not going to have a Joe Rogan on the left. That's not how it works.
It's also not something you can conjure.
Exactly.
In the way that, they just think, oh, let's inorganically build this thing. Those positions have been built over time, and they've earned their credibility, and they've earned their authenticity, and they've earned all those things that they have. You can't just poof them into existence.
That's right. But we also, where they are there and where they're willing to give us a hearing, we should show up. Same as I made a habit of showing up on Fox News. Right.
Right.
I think we're really struggling to find people where they are.
And by the way, very impactful when you show up in spaces and articulate something that it almost feels novel to them.
Exactly.
To hear it laid out in that way.
Exactly. I could say something. I could be the 10th person to say roughly the same thing on a liberal show, or I could literally be the first time somebody heard a certain idea if I'm in a more conservative space, which is why right-wing spaces like X and like Fox News, I think, continue to be important for people like me to be in. But we've also got to be finding folks who are not always looking for politics.
People who have other shit to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I find that a lot of the media now it really has become a kind of self-sustaining legacy kind of complex. And I always tell people, like, even with shows like I run like a Tower Records. Like, we are in many respects dinosaurs of infrastructure. Like, I'm out there like, hey kids, come on in and see the new CDs on the rack. And they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't go into brick and mortar stores. I don't listen, and these things naturally evolve, and there is a churn and new voices arise. And those voices can be really exciting and valuable, and it creates, new avenues to express these ideas.
And that should be exciting and empowering, but only if we know what we're doing, and we can't be naive about it, right? So on one hand, things are, ideas are spreading and compelling voices are emerging and are spreading in this space. But also, let's be clear, the right has a very sophisticated infrastructure to amplify some of those voices.
No question.
And it feels organic, it looks organic, many of them propagating through spaces that I barely understand, like Discord, but that reach people and feel real. And so we need to be as savvy about the mechanics of that kind of stuff. In the same way that, 30, 50, 70 years ago, a DNC operative would need to be smart about, I don't know, how to buy radio ads in the new radio era, or, a bunch of stuff they probably hadn't thought about a generation sooner.